What is going on, guys? Happy Falcon Friday. Well, not really the Falcon anymore. This is going to be my review thoughts for episode 6, the season finale of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, the Marvel Studios Disney Plus show on Disney Plus. This was the last episode titled One World, One People. This is the climax, everything we've been waiting for. Right off the bat, does this deliver and wrap up plot lines? Yes, it does. I was skeptical. I was worried. I know a lot of people in the nerdy Marvel community were worried about this last episode not quite wrapping things up satisfactorily. It really did. It has a 51-minute runtime, 51 minutes 23 seconds with credits. There is a post or mid-credit scene. Make sure you watch it. It sets some stuff up for a key character for the show, of course, as Marvel always does. But we pick up right off the bat with the Flag Smashers taking over the GRC. We've got Sam on the way, flying through the air. You don't get to see the suit yet, but you see Sam flying through the air. He's got new wings. His jetpack's shining blue. You can see the shield, so you're like, okay, that's Captain America now. You've got Bucky on the ground on the way in to infiltrate things on the ground level. You've got John Walker, not part of this yet. You know, you don't know where he's at or what's going to happen. And it's clear that Karli has a plan and a way that she's wanting to do things and like diversions and whatnot because she's communicating with people and they're like, hey, he's here when she sees Sam and whatnot. Okay, well, do this. Well, put this in place. And throughout the episode, that this first part of it where they're at the GRC and that's the big climax part is a lot of it is Karli pulling strings behind the scenes to get Sam exactly where she wants him. Because, keep in mind, Sam is supposed to be getting killed this episode by Batroc the Leaper. That's why he wants to be part of this. So in the middle of all this, Sam finally shows up. We get him fighting Batroc the Leaper. We get an amazing look at the suit. Sam is Captain America now. It's an amazing looking suit. If I have to nitpick it just a little bit, just because I am a Captain America fanboy, I love it. He's literally, I think, my favorite superhero ever. Besides him, Logan, and Tony Stark, it's all real close for me. But I think Cap really takes it for me. Uh, anyway, the suit, it looks really good. I think they went overboard with the white, but I know that that's supposed to really juxtapose John Walker's suit, which had no white in it at all. And, because John doesn't have the purity and the innocence that Sam does. So I know that they wanted to bring as much white into the suit as they could to signify the purity and the innocence of Sam's soul and to show that he really is the right person to be our Captain America going forward. I just think it's a little bit too much white because it's throughout the abdomen. The whole shoulder pieces are white everywhere. The Captain America suit Sam has in the comics has a little bit more blue, I think, on the shoulders and stuff. I liked that a little bit more. And the suit it's not ill-fitting of Anthony Mackie, but it looks like he was supposed to have weighed like 5 to 10 pounds heavier to fill it out more, or the suit was a little bit too big when they got it ordered in when he tried it on and they didn't have time to size it in or anything. It's a little bit loose in places where it doesn't hug his arms much at all and give him any like definition. It just looks like a big oversized kind of jacket sleeve almost. And then in the abdomen, the middle section, when he bends over and stuff, it really kind of bulges out and gets real loose and stuff like a jacket or something. So I know those are really nitpicky things. I noticed it. I was right off the bat, I noticed it. I was like, I would have done things a little bit different if I could have, but I'm not Marvel Studios or Kevin Feige or Kari Skogland, the showrunner. So, hey, it's okay. I still loved it. Sam kills it as Captain America. We get some awesome fighting between him and Batroc the Leaper. Batroc has the upper hand at first, and then we really see Sam start showing his skills off with the way that he can juggle his hand-to-hand combat, his jetpack, and the shield. He starts fighting back and getting Batroc, kicking his ass a little bit. Then we get, Bucky is distracted just long enough by a phone call with Karli for them to start getting all the GRC hostages out of there in these armored vans. And so then he's got to hop on a motorcycle to try and catch up with them. And we get a badass fight scene, plenty of good fight scenes with Bucky here, especially with him and the long-haired Flag Smasher guy. I can't remember his name, but him and Bucky go toe-to-toe a lot this episode. Bucky gets a lot of good action scenes and a lot of good fighting here. We get John Walker comes in out of nowhere, he's like, Morgenthau, let's finish this. Like, you can see the bloodlust in his eyes. You can see his shield and how rough it is on the outside from where he's ground down his welds and painted it and stuff. And just like I figured, his shield ends up getting kind of not destroyed, but severely mangled. Like, the first time Carly punches it, it breaks through straight through one of the welds and almost punches the center star halfway out of it. Another time when somebody punches it, it breaks another weld. When he's throwing it and whatnot, you can hear it sounds real cheap and tinny. It doesn't sound like the vibranium shield by any means. We get some good fighting with him and Carly. He has her on the ropes a lot. You think he's probably going to end up killing her. Then she ends up getting away. They create another diversion with some hostages, with one of the armored vans on fire, where Bucky goes over to save it. So now Bucky's distracted again. Carly's still pulling the strings from behind to keep everybody kind of where they want them. And then they all three end up on the ground level, and it looks like we're going to get the fight that we want, where we've got Captain America, John Walker, and Bucky, all of them against the Flag Smashers, Carly and everybody. It looks like we're going to get them teed off to fight each other. And then Batroc the Leaper out of nowhere comes in and starts shooting smoke grenades everywhere. And then Carly and the Flag Smashers get to run away. Sam and Bucky and John Walker get split up. You've got, in the middle of all this, you had a big hero moment and a big change of heart moment where you had a armored van with a bunch of hostages on it getting ready to fall off of a bridge because Carly put it there on purpose to distract people and get the heroes to go towards this thing. You've got Bucky looking at it from the bottom side like, crap, how am I going to catch this and whatnot. And then they set up John to have a hero moment. Like, is he going to chase Carly and keep trying to kill her, or is he going to save this truck full of helpless people? And finally, John has a change of heart where he quits being so bloodlusted, and he goes and he pulls the truck back. You see his fake shield fall onto the ground by Bucky as like a significance of like, okay, I'm done, I'm done trying to chase this. I realize it's not working. I'm going to try and, help people and at least be some kind of a hero. And then it's like a hard turn for John Walker after that, because all of a sudden he's making quips. He's using he's having little optimistic sayings from like Abraham Lincoln when they confront the Flag Smashers that were trying to get away. He's patting Bucky on the shoulder. Now they're buddies. So it was a very hard immediate switch in tone for his character. They didn't flesh that out at all. It's just like, oh, light switch, he's a good guy again now. It's cool. John Walker's back. It's okay, I guess, whatever. We'll get past it though. Then you have Sam going toe to toe with Carly. Oh, and in the middle of all this, you have Sharon Carter, and she comes up and she's got Carly at gunpoint, and then they lower their guns, and Carly's like, "Oh, the power broker." So Sharon's revealed to be the power broker, just like we thought she was in the middle of all this. And then Batroc the Leaper comes into play again, and he's like, "Oh, I was promised money, blah blah blah. Now that I know you're the power broker, you're gonna pay me 4 times what you promised me, or else I'm gonna tell the whole world." She shoots Batroc the Leaper, Sharon Carter does. And then Carly shoots Sharon in the gut, and Sharon goes down. And then Sam comes in and sees Carly standing over Sharon with a gun in her face. So Sam's like, hey, no. And so they start fighting. And it's actually Carly just fighting Sam. Sam's on the defensive, just keeps taking the hits. He's like, I don't want to fight you. I'm not going to do this. And she's like, fight me, fight me, fight me. And it finally gets to the point where the shield is on the ground. It's just Sam standing there. It's just Carly pointing a Glock at him. And she's about to pull the trigger, and all of a sudden we get 3 shots. Sharon comes out of nowhere. Sharon's still alive. She shoots Carly in the tummy, in the gut, 3 times. Bam, bam, bam. So Carly's going to bleed out at this point. Great, intense scene where, you could see Sam doing everything he could to try and talk her down and save her. And it just was not in the cards, and he has to accept that. He has to accept that he couldn't save her. He can't save everybody. Even as Captain America, even as this standing symbol of beacon and hope, he cannot turn everybody around. And we had a moment where Carly looks at him when he's wearing the suit earlier, where she's like, of all people, you bought into this bullshit. And he's like, yeah, I'm trying to do something different for once. Maybe you should try it too. It's working out for me. And then earlier in the episode too, we had a really cool... Sam is just getting to show off all kinds of cool shit. When he saves the armored car earlier that John was pulling back, Sam actually is the one that comes in and saves it. He's pushing it with the jetpack by itself, and then Red Wing like somehow puts out two mini drone jets with jetpacks, and they start pushing, and then they save the bus. And when he saves it and puts it back onto the bridge, everybody's standing around and clapping, and like they're seeing like, oh my God, that's Captain America. And there's even a line where this old black dude's like, yeah, that's the Black Falcon right there. And there's a younger black guy that's like, nah, man, that's Captain America. And so it's so awesome. It gave me goosebumps during that scene to see everybody clapping and cheering for him, and him finally getting that recognition as Captain America, regardless of who he is wearing the suit. People are recognizing him as the beacon and the hope. And he does this badass move when he saves somebody, where he puts the shield over his head, and then the wings go around the whole shield. And so he has like this secure dome of vibranium that he's under. Like an awesome move. I can't wait to see Sam use later on in the universe again. Then after everything's said and done, and Sam brings Carly's body out, he has this huge, like, I mean, 5 minute, very heavy-handed social commentary Captain America speech, where cameras are all on him, people are recording it with their cell phones, there's news outlets there, he's confronting all these GRC senators, and he's just saying, you know, how if just because you label these people as terrorists and refugees and thugs doesn't mean that that's actually what they are, because some people could look at what you're doing and label you as the same. Now we all have a common struggle. Now we can all work together towards this. You know, how do I not understand? I'm a black man wearing the stars and stripes. I understand just fine. And during this whole huge, heartfelt Captain America, it's very heavy-handed. It's a good speech, but you can feel Marvel shoving it down your throat to an extent, going, this is Sam's coming-of-age Captain America speech, where the world realizes he is Captain America, so we're going to hit it home as hard as we can, and you're going to listen to it. And you keep listening to the speech, and it keeps flashing back to Bucky and John Walker, and you can see the joy on Bucky's face every time Sam says something to do with like compassion and what is right and just. You can see Bucky recognizing those values in Sam, just like Steve before him, and you can see Bucky being happy with that and realizing like, this is Captain America, this is my man. And in the subtitles, when Sam's talking this episode, they even call him Captain America on the subtitles, which is really cool, a really cool acknowledgement. If you watch these shows with subtitles, they will give you some cool hints and things like that with dialogue and characters every once in a while as far as names and Easter eggs go. And then you get John Walker also every time it flashes to his face when Sam's making this big speech about the right thing to do and heart and compassion and being Captain America. You can see it hitting John hard where he's like, yeah, like, this guy is Captain America, and it was not the job for me apparently. I'm not the right guy. And then afterwards, Sam walks over with Bucky, and John just kind of like nods at him, and John walks off. Sam and Bucky and Sharon catch up with each other, and then Bucky's like, hey, we need to get out of here. I need to get her to the hospital or something. And, there's a guy behind Sam yelling at him. He's like, hey, Cap, we need your help. And so now everybody's acknowledging Sam as Captain America. And now we're going to have all the resolution, afterwards. So we get John Walker, or we pick up with Val and John Walker's wife, and Val is talking to John, or to her wife, his wife, about just how things went down and whatnot, and they're like, what is taking him so long in there? Hurry up! And his wife's like, it's probably the helmet, and so you're like, oh no, wow, no way, we got Sam earlier in his new suit. Are we gonna get another cool new name and character reveal with John Walker as U.S. agent? Like, please. He walks out. It's a completely comic accurate John Walker U.S. agent suit, full black with the red and white stripes in the kind of tapered shape down the middle, the black helmet, and he's like, it's the same but black. And Val's like, okay, things are gonna get weird. You're gonna be doing some weird things, and when those things happen, we may not necessarily need a Captain America. Like, we may not need the standing beacon of hope and brightness and optimism that's always going to do the complete right thing. We may just need the dude that's a force of nature that just can't be reconciled with to act on our behalf. So we're going to need a U.S. agent, not a Captain America. So we get the name drop of him as U.S. agent, which I love when these shows give us new comic accurate name drops, like with WandaVision when we got "You're the Scarlet Witch." I love it when we get those things. So now we've got John Walker, U.S. agent. We got a new suit, so our second new suit and new name moniker for this episode, which was really awesome. And then we pick up with Bucky going to do his, he's going to resolve everything with his amends. He's finally going to talk to Yuri, the guy, he killed his son way back in one of the first episodes, the old man he's been buddies with. He finally tells him what happened as the Winter Soldier. He's got closure. We see that he mails his red booklet with all the names crossed off, mails it to his therapist to let her know, I finally made my amends. I finally put all the trauma and the PTSD in the past behind me. I mean, I know you don't just put PTSD behind you, but I put the past behind me. I'm a clean slate. I'm moving forward as a new person. He writes a little "thank you, Doc. I really appreciate it" note on a little letter there. We get to see Sam picking up with Isaiah Bradley, which was an awesome place for us to, end up with this, where Isaiah goes and where Sam goes to see Isaiah and his grandson, and Isaiah is actually like, you know what? I was skeptical at first, but man, you're special. There's something about you that you can do it. You can pull it off, and I'm happy you did. You can see the change in Isaiah. Recognizing that maybe he couldn't do it 60, 70, 80 years ago, but things have changed and things are a little bit different now, and Sam's proving that to him. Like, I can do this, and I'm going to do it. I'm not going to let people tell me that I can't fight for this. So it was an awesome, heartfelt scene, and then Sam takes Isaiah and his grandson to the Captain America Museum, the Memorial Museum, and Sam had them put a big bronze statue of Isaiah Bradley and his story right there in the museum, and it was heartfelt. I had a little bit of water, welling up in my eyes a little bit because Carl Lumley, the actor that portrays Isaiah Bradley in the show, is just so good at portraying the strong, heartfelt emotions through his acting and his face and his eyes. So it was just an amazing scene to see Sam do that for him. Then we get a cool, back in New Orleans, we're back at home with Sarah and the kids. Bucky's there. We're having a big crawfish boil with everybody. Sam and Bucky are having a good time, hanging out. They're buddies. They're bros. We got a bunch of kids hanging on Bucky's arm. It's a good time. It's a happy place to end this episode. And then we go to the credits, and we get a post-credit scene, a mid-credit scene, which was really cool. It's setting up Sharon Carter for the future of this. So now she's at a hearing with the senators and everything, and they're like, hey, we're really sorry that everything happened to you the way it did. Your family name has been a big deal to building this country and building these not these businesses, but these corporations we have, like Sword and Shield and everything. Like, they recognize that her aunt, Peggy, played a key role in doing things with superheroes. So they want to give her, her position back into the government, and she accepts it. She's playing the gratitude, so heartfelt role. But we know she's completely duplicitous now because we know she's the power broker. So as soon as she's out of there, she's making phone calls, and she's like, hey, tell our buyers, I may not have a line on super soldier serum anymore, but I'm back in with the U.S. government. I'm going to have government prototype weapons. I'm going to have Avengers stuff. I'm going to have alien tech. Like, we're in it. So now we've got Sharon Carter back as Agent Carter in the MCU, but she also is the power broker. So she's going to be playing two sides of things. And I really liked it. And what I liked about this show, like, it's not near as gritty or brutal and bloody as The Boys and R-rated, but this show reminds me of The Boys a lot with the way that they do skirt around the kills and they do let it be a little bit more graphic and bloody than you're used to in the Marvel Universe. And the people that they have coming in, a lot of it feels like characters from The Boys universe. Like, with Sharon Carter being where she is now with going into the government and also being the power broker, she feels a lot like our head exploder lady from The Boys. I cannot remember, Congresswoman Nunez. She feels a lot like her, where she's got ill intentions, but she's also on the government side. She looks like this great good person that's just doing nothing but good for people. So this show just, it reminds me of The Boys a lot, especially with how they skirt things with how John Walker is. You know, he's very Homelander-esque sometimes. So anyway, not to go off on that whole tangent, guys, I really, really enjoyed this. I loved this episode. I loved the series overall. At the end, they changed the title card. It said Captain America and the Winter Soldier. So just the fact that they changed the title of the show makes me think that we can get another season of this, especially where we can pick up with seeing, you know, Bucky further himself and seeing them doing things as Captain America and White Wolf maybe instead of, you know, Captain America and the Winter Soldier or whatnot. We'll see where things go with a season 2 if we get one. But yeah, like the video, appreciate it. Follow me everywhere. Like, subscribe, notification bell here on YouTube. Have a good one, guys.